A Halloween tradition brings families together at the beach, why people return every year. Sunfest in Ocean City, thousands of visitors and millions of dollars headed to the town's local economy. Budget battle in Delaware, lawmakers divided over how to avoid a $400 million shortfall.
We saw one round of frost this morning and another round on the way tonight, prompting another frost advisory, southern Delaware, inland parts of Delmarva. More on that and the rest of your weekend forecast coming up.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Emma Aiken. Welcome to Coast TV News at 6. We begin tonight with one of the biggest events of the year in Rehoboth Beach. Thousands packed downtown Rehoboth this morning, all to celebrate a Halloween tradition that's been around for more than 30 years. Coast TV News reporter Nicole Richter shows us what the Sea Witch Parade was all about.
From colorful costumes to spooky floats, the Sea Witch Parade brought the Halloween spirit downtown in Rehoboth Beach on Saturday.
It's better than Christmas.
Families lined Rehoboth Avenue early to get a good spot, cheering on everyone involved in the parade. Christina Pecora says she's been coming for many years now and enjoys it every time.
I'm going to say that every time I think of Sea Witch, my heart beats a little fast. And I know this is happening. They come and we stay the whole week. You know, it's like so much fun.
And whether people were collecting candy or just soaking in the excitement, Lucy Heaton, who comes from Pennsylvania every year with her family, says the day is all about the fun.
It's really fun, and I'm glad we get to keep coming after the summer's over. So I'm glad there's fun stuff to do even when it's the off season.
And it's not just about the parade itself. For some families, it's about returning year after year to share a little magic at the beach.
It means so much. It's really kind of a history thing for us. We feel like every year we do this. It's become a tradition, and we even talk about having our kids come and start the next generation of Sea Witch Parade goers.
The Sea Witch Parade may be wrapping up, but the Halloween spirit remains in Rehoboth Beach. I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
And here are some pics of our Coast TV crew out there at the Sea Witch Parade this morning. Truly such a fun event. Every year getting to see the smiles on the little ones' faces and hand out candy. And the fun isn't over just yet. The weekend wraps up tomorrow, but first there's a costumed dog parade at 1 p.m. Registration opens at noon for that next to the Henlopen Hotel with a $5 fee per dog. Winners will be announced at the bandstand at 2:30 p.m. Floats and wagons are allowed on the boardwalk, but not on the bandstand, and no wild animals, livestock, or reptiles are allowed. There will also be hay rides through the back streets of Rehoboth Beach tomorrow from noon to 4 p.m. For all things Sea Witch Festival and a list of all the events throughout the weekend, head to coasttv.com. Crowds are still coming in at the Ocean City Inlet for the 50th Sunfest, a milestone that also falls during the town's 150th anniversary year. The four-day festival marks one of the biggest economic boosts of the fall, bringing thousands of visitors and millions of dollars in spending to local hotels, restaurants, and shops.
It's just a terrific economic driver. Anytime the sun's out, obviously we have a great weekend for Sunfest. People are going to come down and enjoy things. So they're going to eat in our restaurants, they're going to stay overnight in the hotels, they're going to buy something up and down the strip here.
Sunfest continues through Sunday night at the Inlet with no fee for entry. As we take a live look into Milford, our First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihe joins us. Bob, it was certainly a beautiful day out there for all the fall events this weekend.
Oh, absolutely, Emma. Sunfest and also Sea Witch looking great out there. Now, we do have another frost advisory for southern Delaware. We had one last night, and the growing season not quite over. So away from the coast, frost advisory into Sussex County, and then including a good chunk of the eastern shore. That goes through Sunday morning, as we'll see temperatures dipping into the 30s. 30s in those areas. Right now it's chilly. 54 in Millsboro and Dagsboro, 56 in Rehoboth, Georgetown at 55. The winds are light, and we've got quite a bit in the way of mid to high level clouds, especially high clouds as we go through the evening hours. We have high pressure right over the top of us, and we will see some breaks in these clouds from time to time, and that will allow temperatures to really dip. So here's Futurecast at 7 p.m. Temperatures falling from the 50s into the 40s with those breaks in the clouds, and by tomorrow morning, inland areas in the 30s, otherwise 40s at the coast. Your storyline tonight, we have that frost advisory, temperatures mid-30s to low 40s, and then Sunday dry and cool, below average temperatures, more clouds than sun. Much more on your forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. It took years of discussion, but we now know the Clear Space Theater Company is going to stay in Rehoboth Beach. The city and the theater are moving ahead with a plan for a new performance venue on Christian Street. Yesterday, Clear Space and the city locked in a 30-year partnership. The new theater would go on the site of the Cape Henlopen Senior Center once that center relocates. The land is worth more than $7 million, but will be leased to the theater for just $1 a year.
Among the things that we recognize has been most critical for many of our current audiences' experiences at ClearSpace is the walkable access to restaurants, to dining, to drinks before, after performances, which helped us to narrow our choices down.
The theater company had also been given a proposal from the city of Lewis, but chose to stay in Rehoboth, where it's been since 2010. ClearSpace says the next steps are looking for an architect and gathering community input. In development news, more plans for Mulberry Knoll Road off Route 24. A proposed Goldsboro Farm subdivision would place 307 single-family homes on 257 acres on the road. You see the drawing of the development on your screen now. Plans filed with the state show around 55 acres of trees would be cleared, and traffic studies estimate up to 3,000 vehicle trips a day once homes are built. While the project doesn't need a zoning change, it adds to the growing list of developments near Route 24, including the proposed Costco and Belmead projects just up the road.
Then you compound it with the issues of Belmead. So at some point, there needs to be a pause.
The plan for development will be reviewed and discussed at the state's preliminary land use service meeting next Wednesday. A potential $400 million budget deficit may be looming in Delaware. The concern comes from President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which includes major corporate tax breaks that affect the state because Delaware's tax code is tied to federal rules. Some Democrats are pushing to decouple the state's tax code and want a special session before the January legislative session to address changes before they take effect on January 1st. Republican lawmakers support the federal tax changes, saying they encourage investment and job growth, but caution that any rushed fixes could backfire.
We need to move quickly to do it. Because otherwise we're looking at a major deficit over the next 3 years.
Our desire to protect Delaware from this impact can't result in a change that then creates negative aspects that are unknown right now because this is complicated.
Buxton also says Delaware needs to take a hard look at how it's managing its existing money. Target trouble, why the chain says a massive layoff is coming and its impact on the global workforce.
Here's a live look into Salisbury, seeing a lot of clouds, 56, and temperatures falling quickly again tonight. Many inland areas, a frost advisory. More on that, plus some midweek rain on the way. Your full forecast coming up in a little bit.
Crop crisis, soybean exports to China dropped to zero amid Trump tariffs. Delaware farmers feeling the pinch. We'll have that story and more when CoastTV News at 6 returns.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Soybean harvesting season is now underway in Delaware, but the biggest buyer of the crop, China, has stopped buying from the U.S. altogether since President Trump put tariffs in place. That means the usual U.S. shipment of nearly 25 million metric tons of soybeans to China is not happening right now, according to the American Soybean Association. With the tariffs, soybean prices are now lower than they've been in a year or more. For farmer Derek Wells, luckily a lot of his beans are used locally one way or another, but Wells says the loss of China's imports still makes a big impact.
The tariffs make a big difference in the grain prices to a degree, but the tariffs also make a difference in everything we buy. I mean, we buy tires, we buy metal, we buy steel, we buy machinery. I mean, that it affects all that.
Drivers will notice shifting lanes, construction crews, and new traffic patterns near Route 1 and Holland Glade Road. DelDOT says it's all part of a project to add a turn lane and a traffic signal to improve safety and reduce congestion. In the meantime, you can expect delays as work begins.
I think it's good. I do. I mean, the congestion on the road is what it is, but safety's first. So.
DelDOT says the changes should be complete by Thanksgiving. And coming up next, Bob Trihey is in the CoastTV First Alert Weather Center with nice weather to end the weekend and maybe some rain next week. He has your full forecast after this.
It certainly was a cool start to our weekend across Delmarva, and lots of mid to high level clouds making it feel even cooler. Only 59 in Georgetown, 59 in Ocean City, 60 in Salisbury with Easton and Cambridge, both at 59. It was a frosty start this morning. We're going to do it again tomorrow morning away from coastal areas. Frost advisory, another cold night, mid-30s well inland to lower 40s at the beaches. And then we round out the weekend dry and cool, below average temperatures once again. And I think we're looking at more clouds and sun. Here's that frost advisory. Sussex County, Seaford to Georgetown, Frankfort as well. Right along the immediate coast, you're excluded. I think it'll be just warm enough where we're not dealing with frost there, but we have the frost advisory as well across the eastern shore through tomorrow morning. Temperature-wise, now it's chilly. 54 Millsboro, 53 in Longneck, 57 in Lewis, Delmar and Gumboro right now at 55. Winds are light, but we have more clouds now than we did yesterday, and that could hold our temperatures up just a little bit. Where you see those clouds thin out tonight, that's where it'll be colder. But right now, a big shield of cirrus clouds and some cumulus clouds across the area right now. And it looks like rain to our west, but that is just some precipitation aloft. It's very dry as we have high pressure right over the top of us. Here's Futurecast tonight. We're still going to hang on to some of those high clouds. By tomorrow morning, if you're seeing clearer skies, you'll be seeing temperatures dipping way down into the 30s. If you're more in the clouds, you'll see 40s. And I think we will see mostly cloudy skies tomorrow in the afternoon, 50s to around 60. And then Sunday night into Monday morning, not as chilly as we're looking at temperatures in the 40s to around 50. And it's one more day of Sea Witch on Sunday in Rehoboth, a northeast breeze, lots of clouds and temperatures near 60 in the afternoon. And another day of Sunfest in Ocean City, lots of clouds, temperatures near 60 for you, and definitely feeling cooler with that northeast breeze, but it does stay dry. And then along the coast on Sunday, 60 in Lewis, Dewey Beach 62, lots of clouds, with Bethany Beach at 60 and Chincoteague at 62 degrees. And we have changes on the way. I think as we head into the middle part of next week, we're watching an area of low pressure that could develop into a pretty big storm off the east coast, could have coastal impacts, maybe causing beach erosion. Here's Thursday morning, maybe very heavy rain as we're looking at this onshore flow. And once again, our beaches are compromised from previous storms. So once again, this could be a pretty big storm, but the models are still differing on just how strong it will be. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, Sunday 61, and then not as cold into Monday morning, 42, 59 on Monday. Clouds increase on Tuesday, 57, and then the rain builds in, probably some wind too. Lower 60s Wednesday and Thursday, and then Halloween drying out for the ghosts and goblins, a high of 61.
We have a lot more news to come here on Coast TV News at 6. Trump trade talks, why the president says these conversations with Canada have been terminated. President Trump says all trade talks with Canada have been terminated. The president has accused Canada of trying to interfere with an upcoming Supreme Court case about the legality of his reciprocal tariffs. He made the announcement on Truth Social after the Canadian province of Ontario began running a television advertisement in the United States featuring a speech from former President Ronald Reagan. The president went on to say that the ad was fraudulently used and that it was fake. President Trump has imposed double-digit tariffs on Canada's steel, aluminum, auto, lumber, and copper sectors. Still to come here on Coast TV News at 6, Hometown Hero will show you the Delmarva man that's made it to the big leagues. Game 2 of the World Series is on tonight, and even though it's between the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers, there is a Delmarva connection. This is Mason Fluharty, and he's a pitcher for the Blue Jays. He's also a 2019 graduate of Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis. He was drafted to the Blue Jays in 2022 and made his major league debut earlier this year. Fluharty's high school coach tells us he came in ready to compete from day one.
For us, he was a guy that was a fierce competitor. We could see it on the mound. He closed out the first state championship we won in 2018, came in relief and got the strikeout to end the game in a big situation.
The Blue Jays won Game 1 of the 121st World Series last night. And get ready for another week in the NFL regular season. We have your Sunday Night Football tomorrow on CoastTV. This week you can catch the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coverage begins at 7. Then stay right here for CoastTV News following the game. We've got more news for you tonight on CoastTV News at 6.
Make sure you have a heavier jacket out the door this evening. Temperatures quickly falling from the 50s into the 40s. We've got a frost advisory. Inland areas dipping into the 30s. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. After that chilly start Sunday morning, a high of 61. And then we cloud things up as we go into early next week with upper 50s. Then we're watching for a possible coastal storm Wednesday and Thursday with wind, lower 60s. And then Halloween looking good for the ghosts and goblins, around 61 for the high. And Emma, these frosty mornings certainly helping with the allergies.
Oh, Bob, I'm excited for that. You know, you hear me sneezing out there every day in the office.
Okay, all right. It'll definitely help.
Well, thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. Till then, have a great night.